Countdown. I'm your host, Kendra Douglas, and this is a pregame show built for you, the fans. We want to interact with you all, and we're streaming on all different platforms, guys. We are growing, so you can make sure that you can talk to us on YouTube, you can talk to us on Twitter, you can talk to us on Facebook, all of the places. We want to hear from you. We want to be able to make sure we interact with you as this Magic team gets ready to take on the Denver Nuggets. Now, of course, this is going to be a game that this team is looking to bounce back from, and you can catch that game tonight at 6 p.m. on FanDuel Sports Network, your home for the Orlando Magic. But for now, you get to chat with us as we get you ready and we get you prepared for tonight's game. The Magic, they return home back to the Kia Center after falling on a 2-game road trip, first time in Milwaukee, and then, of course, against the Boston Celtics, which Friday night game was just a tough one. You can see the final score page of that one. Just, you wanted more for this team. You were hoping that you could see more for this team, but let's take a look at those highlights to see just how this Magic team are able to try their best in this game. Look into, not want to take away from. So hopefully this Magic team can continue to work harder to get the wins in this game tonight against the Denver Nuggets. But when you look at just what was going on with the Boston Celtics, looking at this final score page of what happened against the Boston Celtics in this one. So Paolo Banchero, 9th game, 4th one since returning from that oblique tear, still on a little bit of a minutes restriction, but that will continue to ramp up, and his communication with the team will continue to grow so he doesn't play until fatigued. Finished with 21 on the night. Cole Anthony, 6th start with the Magic this season, finished with 23 on the night, but the Celtics, they shot 52.5% from the field, almost 46% from the three. We get it. This Magic team's having a little bit of three woes. Coach Mosley talked a little bit about that today. Trusting the body of work, trusting the process of what you're capable of. Tatum, 30 on the night, 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. Hard night for this one, as you can see right there, falling 121 to 94. Let's listen to head coach Jamal Mosley and some of the guys after the game and just how they felt about that loss.
Take care of home. It got away from us a little bit, a lot of it there. Again, it's one loss, and it's 2 in a row now, but just keeping our heads in the right space, understanding where we can improve, what we have to work on, the little things and the details of these games, go back and look at the film, and then be ready to go Sunday versus Denver.
They're the best shooting team in the league. They get up the most threes. We knew that coming in, and they shoot even better at home.
I want to take as little away from these two games as I can, and really shake them off, but this is what the league is, man. You go up against two elite teams, sometimes you're going to get your head cracked. And so I think for us, it's just going to be important to take what we can away from it, watch the film, watch it, obviously, but then after that, not linger on this, not let this bubble up and keep us on this bad spell like this, but instead shake it off, get back to the crib, and get a good win there.
Thank you guys again for joining us to Courtside Countdown. I'm looking at the chat, and I think some of you guys are confusing Dan Savage's name. So yes, Dan Savage will be joining us later, but for now you have me continuing to just give us what you guys want to see. What do you guys want to see from this Magic team tonight? I want to see it all. Make sure also you guys continue to make this a very open and safe space for everyone to be able to chat, to be able to just talk about the Magic and be able to interact with me and Dan Savage when the time comes. So one of the things that was talked about also was the injuries. With this Magic team, they are continuing to see guys come back, though. You see Paolo Banchero is out. Franz Wagner is still out, yes, but as you know, he is continuing to ramp up. He is now part of that conditioning to reconditioning to get back to being competitive help, so that's always good. Jett Howard today was on the court. He had some court work, head coach Jamal Mosley said, but he's still day-to-day. Jalen Suggs, a slow process. One of the things that really, I think, head coach Jamal Mosley talked about in a little bit in more depth is that when it comes to these injuries, they could be feeling fine just now, but what happens in the next day? And what happens in the next day? A back injury is something serious as well. So it's just about monitoring those injuries and seeing what happens. Goga Bitadze still out, but continuing to be monitored. So, Magic fans, they're coming back slowly. But when you look at the East and what's going on in the Eastern Conference, this Magic team is still staying strong in the East, and they're able to just still be able to keep themselves going within the East. You had Paolo who was out, Franz who was out, Paolo's coming back. It's all about integrating back into it. So let's take a look at those East standings and just where the Magic fall right now. So the Magic, 4 out of 6 in their last 10 games, but this, of course, is all fluid. They sit right now 7th in the East at 23-20. Cavs, Celtics, Knicks still remain top 3 in the East, but there's still that close race you can see from 4 to 7 to give. So every game, of course, counts. As you can see, every game will count in this one. Halfway through the season, regular season, the Magic, they are looking to get wins wherever they can, however they can. The biggest thing, of course, is taking down a team like the Denver Nuggets. Game 44 for the Magic tonight. Again, you can see that on FanDuel Sports Network. This Denver team is coming in after winning against Miami just the other night. Just looking at that comparison of those two teams and what they have against each other. So, the last time the Magic saw Denver was back in January of last year. They won that game 122-120. The team went 2-0 last season against the Nuggets, but still 36-35 all time against the Nuggets. Here is the stats and here are the numbers of the season. But of course, also you can't forget this Magic team has a guy that this Denver team knows all too well, and KCP. That's also going to be a big moment. You got to see him today just kind of talking with some of the guys at Denver. So he knows his team all too well as well, and he knows what to expect from them. So hopefully we'll see a really good game for him tonight as well, because we did see a good game for him in Detroit. That's where he started. So hopefully against a team where he won a championship with, we can see a good amount of threes and playing time for him. Of course, when you talk about this Denver team, you got to talk about the Joker and Jokic and just what he's been able to accomplish so far this season with this team. In his return from the elbow inflammation, Jokic posted 30 points, 9 for 12 shooting, 12 rebounds, 10 assists for his league-leading 17th triple-double. He is a walking triple-double. Head coach Jamal Mosley said that today about him and Russell Westbrook, because those two as a duo have been able to bring a lot of spark and a lot of energy. Looking at his stats overall, in 35 games that he's played, he's averaging 30.4 points per game. But against Orlando, he's averaging 19 points per game, 10 rebounds, a little more than 8 assists against him in the 17 games that he's been able to play. All right, I'm still looking at everyone. Oh, Will, I get what you're saying. You're talking about Jake Chapman. No, Jake is not joining us right now. Maybe that's a good idea, though, Will. Maybe we'll try to see if we can get Jake to join us. But you can also make sure that you check out Jake and listen to him on the radio. But also him and Dante, they will be in the studio, I believe, tomorrow. Oh, no. I can't remember when they're going to be in the studio. But I'll let you guys know when they're going to be in the studio for their radio show. And then you can keep up. So that's who you were talking about, Will. I got you. I'm excited for All-Star Weekend. Possibly AB, Jet, Tristan, Paolo, Franz, probable. Let's go ahead and talk about All-Star real quick before we talk about Jamal Murray. So if you guys look into it, you guys can still vote. Voting's still a thing, guys. Vote, vote, vote. It's been amazing to see how well Paolo has done in the standings. Played 5 games and was already fourth. Still fourth, and he's been able to play 4 more games. Tonight will be his 10th. So it's great to see that Magic fans are taking note of what Paolo Banchero means to this league and to this team. So keep voting, keep voting. You see right there, Franz Wagner. And it would be great to see Tristan, guys like AB be a part of that, also be a part of the new games in there. So definitely keep them voting. Keep the votes coming. Okay, let's look at some other things too. Aaron Gordon is in the house. Yes. Another former Magic player who's with the Nuggets. He is in the building as well. And all right, I think that's all I have for the comments so far before I ask you any more other questions. But keep them coming, keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming, because then we're going to also talk about Murray. And let's talk a little bit about how those two, with Jokic and Murray, are be able to just help this Denver team. Murray has been playing some of the best basketball this season as of late. Finished with a season high 45 points on 18 for 16 shooting, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, 37 minutes against that Dallas game on the 14th. He scored 32 in the first half, setting a career high. So he was able to also help this team out when they played Miami. But so far, when they were on these last 5 games, he's just been so crucial and so helpful for this team. And I guess that goes to show of like me asking the question to you, the fans watching this right now. What do you think the Magic need to do, and what do you think they need to accomplish to get a win tonight in the Kia Center? And we are joined by Dan Savage because we're going to ask you, Dan, a little bit too. We were both in Boston. That was a tough one. How does a team like this bounce back, especially here at home?
Champion. The Nuggets aren't going to make it easy, that's for sure, especially on the defensive end. But what the Magic have to do is kind of embrace some of the home cooking. Look, we've all had a rough week at work at some point. The Magic had a rough week at work. And sometimes there's nothing quite like just being back at home to cure what ails you. So hopefully the Magic, who've been an exceptional home court team, one of the best in the NBA over the last 2 years, playing on this court, hopefully that helps them tonight.
I definitely agree. And I want to look at Denver's last 5 games and how they've been playing as of late because it's something serious when you take a look at it. They only went 4-1. They were only 4-1. They fell to Houston by 20 though. 6 players finished in double figures against that win in Miami. They beat Dallas twice. The second time is where we saw Murray get that 45-point game. Now, Denver is also a team that has made comebacks, and I thought this was an interesting tidbit because they are also a fourth quarter dominating team too, and they actually tie the Magic in those fourth quarter tying games to bounce back. So you're talking about a team that also knows how to bounce back in the fourth quarter. This should be an interesting matchup.
No question about it. And Jokic is playing out of this world right now. We'll talk about him a little bit later. But he has the ability to pick you apart defensively. And if there's a weakness, he's going to find it. So for a Magic team that's not only trying to integrate a new piece back in Paolo, who missed 34 games, but is also trying to put players in the lineup who might not be there if they were at full strength, and things are mixed and matched right now. It's going to be a challenge. You're going to be tested by Nikola Jokic.
For sure. Before we get to him, I'm going to get to some of the questions. So I confused you. Will Dawson, who has been a big fan of this show, he asked about Jake, and I thought he was talking about you. But no, he meant Jake Chapman. But he also mentions, what's up, Dan? It's Will Dawson.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Good seeing you.
I know. So, okay, so some of the things you guys are saying, we really need to do good as we can until we get some health. Yes, the injury bug has been something that this Magic team is struggling with.
Good signs there, though.
Yes.
You know, Jet was able to do more today. Jalen Suggs has progressed. We saw him on the court a little bit, doing some light work in Boston. Franz looks great in the times that we've seen him during practice. So really excited to get him back on the court soon. You know, reports that might happen as soon as 7 to 10 days.
Yep.
So Magic could be getting some help soon. It's just remaining afloat until then.
And it's so good to see some of these guys just come back to the bench. Jalen Suggs has been here on the bench, giving this team energy. We saw Mo Wagner in the back over there, so hopefully people will be able to see him on the bench, just giving this team the energy that they need. Mosley's talked about that when they do come back on the bench, they do kind of bring that spark and just that emotion that this team might need. And I think this team needs all the emotion and the energy they can get right now.
Look, a lot of people are putting to the Magic shooting woes right now and point to that as reason to blame. But look, this team has gone through stretches of the season where they haven't shot the ball well before and still managed to come out with victories. And I think a big part of that was the defensive energy of guys like Goga and Jalen Suggs. So with them both out of the lineup right now, I think their inability to have their defense generate offense from them is struggling because, look, if you're struggling from the outside, shooting the basketball, teams are going to pack the paint. What you need to do is be able to get down the court, score early in the possession, and have that attack before their defense gets set. And the Magic aren't able to do that right now in the past 2 games. Hopefully they do it tonight against the Nuggets.
Yeah, and how good has it been to kind of see this team integrate Paolo back into everything as well? One thing I love that was said, though, Mosley said, look, Paolo's going to get his. The big thing that he wants his guys to do is to continue to play like they've been playing when Franz and Paolo have been out. He's going to get his. So it's good to see Paolo Banchero back in action and really just being able to help this team out. He is on the court practicing with us a little bit We'll try to get some shots of him. I don't know if we can. We'll try to get a shot of him, and maybe if he gets back out here on our side, we'll see what we can do. But P5, just what he's been able to do, and the fact that the last time he saw Denver, he was able to have his first triple-double, I believe.
Yes.
So yes, let's get a shot of Paolo if we possibly can. Can we get that?
Get out of the way.
Let's get that for the fans. I don't know yet. We'll see. We'll try to get that. Let's look at the upcoming schedule, though, and see how this Magic team is going to be playing. So, as you can see, it's going to be a tough one tonight, but this is a team also that got a really good win against Toronto last time, so they're going to be trying to get that again. Then you see Portland at home. Then you see Detroit, the Pistons team, another team where Cade Cunningham and this team they are finding their identity for sure, Dan Savage.
No, there are no easy matchups on the NBA schedule, that's for sure. But to ease up from the past 7 games where you're going against championship contenders is a nice break in the action. So if the Magic can get a win tonight, I think that bodes well and gives them the confidence heading into the next 3 matchups before they head out on a really, really long road trip.
Yes, and Magic fans, there he is, Paolo Banchero, warming up, preparing for tonight's game. He's been able to just really give this team that lift. It's just a matter of, it feels like they just have to get it together. I want to mention the last time when Paolo got out, it was during that Midwest trip. And of course, it was Franz the one to step up, but it still took time to integrate, to find the rhythm. You bring this guy back into the mix of things, it's still going to take time to find a rhythm.
No question. Paolo is an offensive hub for this team. He gets a high usage rate. And for the guys that are used to playing with him, which is many of the guys on the Magic's bench right now, they have that formula down. The hard thing with Paolo is, one, I think where guys are right now, is they see him and the attention that he commands, and they want to stay out of his way, especially when he's driving to the hoop. But when 2 people attack, you either have to be in your spot, which is predetermined in the offensive set, or be cutting to the basket to give him a secondary option. And I think that's exactly where they're at the point of right now, is figuring that out, that rhythm, when to cut, when to sit at the 3-point line. As the players start to figure that out and they build that chemistry, I think Paolo's numbers are only going to go up, and the players around him are going to benefit from the attention he commands.
I completely agree. Let's get to your storylines of today's game as well. You got some good ones for us, Dan.
Yeah, first off, start off strong. You talk about a team that's tough to come back against. It's the Denver Nuggets. They're 14-0 this season when they lead at halftime. So you don't want to have to put yourself in a position where you have to be the first team to do something again. All eyes on Nikola Jokic. Look, as we said, he will pick you apart defensively. He's top 5 in the NBA in points, top 5 in rebounds, top 5 in assists, top 5 in steals, and top 5 in three-point percentage. So you got to watch out for him. And look, shoot it with confidence. It's easy to become discouraged when you're missing shots like the Magic have been on the road in Milwaukee and Boston, but they tend to shoot the ball better here at Kia Center, and you got to have the belief that they're going to go in tonight. They certainly put in the work.
Yeah, they sure have, and it will be great to see when all the work that they've been putting into finally pays off for this team. Let's get to some of your questions. This is one where Dan and we did actually investigate.
Ooh, I know this one.
What's in Coach Moses' drink? We did actually listen to you, the fans, when you asked us, and we found out, and it's just a whole bunch of electrolytes.
And a secret ingredient, which has been labeled Dub Juice.
Yes, that's right.
And that's where all the wins come from.
And that's where all the wins come from. So we need more electrolytes and Dub Juice for head coach Jamal Mosley.
Let's do a double dose of Dub Juice tonight.
Let's do that. We'll talk with Isaac back there and say, like, can you put more Dub Juice in Mosley's? But we listened to you. We ended up finding out, and I feel great knowing that we are answering the people's questions.
I mean, we cornered Isaac and challenged him to give him the secret ingredients, and the best we could do is electrolytes and a little extra helping of Dub Juice, which we have a plethora of it here at Kia Center.
Yes, we do. Okay, Duval said they got to get off to a good start. They got in trouble when they are behind, and they can't play catch-up, which is so interesting because this team was so good at playing catch-up, but I think it's getting the best of them now.
No, especially when you're shorthanded. It's really hard to come back from behind. And you've got a Nuggets team back there that's top 3 in points per game. So, look, they don't go through many offensive lulls
Yeah.
with Nikola Jokic, so you don't want to put yourself in that position tonight. Totally agree there.
Yes. Kendra, I've seen some players celebrate with their hands high and revving the engine. Do you know what the reference is to? I do, but I don't know if I can say it yet.
Yeah.
It's like their thing yet.
Yeah,
it's
it's
their
still
thing.
their thing.
It's still their thing.
It always reminds me of Vince Carter back
Yes.
in the day because he had a habit of doing that when back here with the Magic and even before that, the then New Jersey Nets. And they did that as a tribute to a player who got cut from their summer league team. So,
Yeah.
it's funny to see it come back around.
Yeah, we do know, but it's their thing. So we're going to let them have it. We're going to let them have their thing. Now, if we get permission to tell you guys, we'll let you know. But
We'll break the news here. We'll promise
yes,
that.
we'll break the news here on Courtside Countdown. But yes, we're going to let them have their thing. Why doesn't J.I. and Wendell play together sometimes? Sometimes we get bullied inside.
No, I think right now you're going to see a plethora of different lineup combinations
Yeah.
as Jamal Mosley looks for that. They do have complementary skill sets. I think the big thing right now is that they're both so versatile defensively that you want one of them on the floor at all times. If you fall into some of those switches where you have to go from big men to guys on the perimeter, because both those guys are somewhat capable of guarding 1 through 5.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's see. People are talking about Aaron Gordon still being here. Yes, Aaron Gordon is in the building.
He had quite the dunk the other night, which sealed a Jokic triple-double.
Yeah.
Jokic throwing it behind his head and doing that. We all know what Aaron Gordon could do on the open floor, so got to watch out for that guy tonight as well.
I like what Jay Curve said. Kenny drops buckets tonight. He knows the ins and outs. I was saying how Kenny had a really good game in Detroit because he understood that team. That's where he started. This is a team he knows all too well, won with them. So I'm expecting him to have a good game.
Regardless of what Kenny says, I'm sure he's going to be up for this one. Anytime you're playing a former team, guys deep down, want to show them what they're missing out on.
Yes, for sure. Well, before we head out, final thoughts for tonight's game.
Final thoughts, you got to limit them offensively. Don't let them get comfortable. If you get in a track meet with the Denver Nuggets, it's not going to be good because Jokic could throw the outlet passes. They lead the league in fast break points. And here's where it's so difficult defensively. When you look at the Nuggets team, they're number 1 in the league in three-point percentage.
Yep.
So you take that away. Well, they're also the number 1 team for points in the paint. So you have that to worry about. And, by the way, they're number 1 in the league in fast break points. So they're a challenge all over the floor. This requires extreme defensive discipline. And, if you make some shots also, that doesn't hurt as well.
You guys are really, really good at seeing who's behind us. People were asking if that was Mike behind us. Yes? Mike Miller's in the building.
You might not have seen it, but he kind of high-fived and hugged before I came on with Jesse Mermis, Magic assistant
that.
coach. So obviously here to support Paolo, who's now back in action. Good to see Mike, former player here.
Yep.
Some great times with Mike.
That is so funny. You Magic fans, I tell you, you guys have eyes out here. I love it. I love it. Well, that'll do it for us on Courtside Countdown. I'm Kendra Douglas. That's Dan Savage. Thank you for joining us today in tonight's game. And the Magic, they will take on the Denver Nuggets tonight at 6 p.m. You can catch the Magic Live pregame show with Dante Marcatelli and the crew at 5:30 on FanDuel Sports Network, your home for the Orlando Magic. Thank you to our team behind the scenes for helping make this show just flourish. We appreciate you all.
Shout
we
out
will
to
see
you.
you. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out Camilla.
All of the things.
Shout out Eric.
And we will see you tomorrow back on the YouTube page for the Orlando Magic group chat. Let's talk about all things Magic. Let's talk about tonight's game. Let's talk about anything else you want to talk about on that page. So make sure you subscribe to all of the Orlando Magic YouTube channels, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're losing all of them. We might get TikTok back. So if we're still on that, subscribe so that way you can be up to date with all things Orlando Magic. Thanks, you guys, and we will see you later.